Hello everyone, I'm your host Akuma, and welcome to what I hope will be a very informative video on alchemy in Morrowind. I will say right away that I am not an expert at utilizing alchemy to the maximum potential, and I only know the basics of it, enough to get me through the game, but I'm going to be trying to cover it as much as I possibly can in this video, since people seem to like my enchantment videos so very much. If you want a link to that, you can click here or check the description, and with that, we are going to jump right into this. So, alchemy in Morrowind is somewhat deep. You don't need to know a whole lot of it, but it sure does help to know a bit. For starters, let's take a look at my character and what he's got going for him. Alchemy is a skill that is based on intelligence. Mine is at 100, and my alchemy and intelligence are both at 100. Alchemy in this game you are obviously going to be using to make a whole bunch of potions with these different ingredients. I have no potions in my inventory right now. That is because I want all the results of this video to be in an easy access location where we're not trying to sort through a whole bunch of other ones to look at the results that we eventually do make. So, in order to do alchemy, there are a few tools that you will need, and these four here are the four alchemy tools you will need. The only one you really need, though, the other ones are sort of a toss-in to make better results. The only one you need is a mortar and pestle. We have the highest quality of each tool here, which is, in addition to the mortars and pestle, the Retort, the Calcinator, and the Alembic. I believe that the Alembic is one of the most hardest to find, but I can't say I'm entirely sure of that. But you do need a mortar and pestle. There are 5 different levels of the tools that you can collect. The first one is apprentices, then journeymans, masters, grandmasters, and secret masters. The difference between all of these things is the quality. Now, I don't have a secret master's tools here, but that is because the secret masters are not in the game. They are included in the code for Morrowind, and you can get them by using console cheats if you're using the PC version of the game, or if you're using a map creator of some sort, which I have no idea how to look into, but it's still an option. It's programmed in the game, you just can't get it through regular Morrowind gameplay. So I have the Grandmaster's Mortar and Pestle. Now the difference in the quality is that the apprentice's tools will have a quality of 0.5. Journeyman's will have a quality of 1, the Masters will have 1.2, and the Grandmasters will have 1.5 quality. The Secret Masters will all have a quality of 2, but since we can't get them, 1.5 it will be. The specific quality amounts are going to be used in the actual creation of the potion in the game's code. So they're going to be like multipliers and all that kind of stuff. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. Now the majority of ingredients in Morrowind are going to have 4 effects on them, and because our alchemy level is so high, we can see all 4 of them. If your alchemy skill is 0 to 14, you won't be able to see any of these effects. They will all be question marked out. If you have a skill of 15 to 29, you will see 1 effect, 2 effects at 30 to 44, 3 effects at 45 to 59. If your alchemy is level 60 or above, you will see all 4 effects. Thankfully, we can see all of them in here. Not all of the ingredients that we can find in Morrowind will have a maximum of 4. Some of them may have 2 or even 1, but 4 is usually the standard for it, and very rarely will other ingredients have less than that. Even so, a difference between this game and other games in the Elder Scrolls series, well, I guess not Skyrim so much, but at least in Oblivion, is that even though you can't see all these effects, they are still, well, in effect. So if you open up your view here and you look at the different ingredients, or if you look at the different effects of the ingredient, you may see one that is question marked out and you're going, okay, I have no idea what that is, but maybe I'll come across it on my own. You can come across it on your own. In fact, you can do alchemy perfectly well at level 0 if you want. Well, you may fail a lot of your potions and very rarely get to make anything, but you will still be able to see the effects that you can make from all this stuff. So if you toss in hound meat and you toss in a whole bunch of other ingredients that have probably all the same effects that you see here, you can make a potion with all the effects. No guarantee that the potion will work because your alchemy skill is so low and you have no idea what you're doing, but you can still make a potion with all effects right from the beginning of the game. Like I said, you can toss in up to 3 different ingredients, and up to 3 extra is the maximum you can do. You always need at least 2 ingredients to make a potion of any kind, but you cannot use more than 4 ingredients, otherwise I guess the mortar and pestle may overflow and you won't be able to mash it all down and just things spill out everywhere and make a big mess, and then the character has to clean it up and they don't appreciate that, so they will not mix in more than 4 at a time. Now if you want to begin practicing alchemy right from the beginning of the game, they're not going to give you all the tools and ingredients that you need. You can get your ingredients on your own, of course, by walking around and collecting stuff like you do in any other game, but you need to at least start practicing alchemy before you can get good at it. This doesn't mean you need any tools though. You can go ahead and eat any ingredient you want, and that effect will be applied to you instantly. Well, if you're lucky. Sometimes the ingredients will not affect you, and then nothing will happen. But say we eat this hound meat. The only thing that could possibly happen to us is that we get the Restore Fatigue effect, which is at the very top. That's the only one we can never get. The others won't matter if we just eat these ingredients raw. If we eat Cuddle, we will be able to resist poison, but we don't have to worry about any of the other stuff. This is very good because Vampire Dust has a final effect of vampirism. Now if that was number 2 or 3, we wouldn't have to worry in an equal amount. But if it was the number 1, then we need to make sure we never eat Vampire Dust unless we pretty much have a death wish at the beginning of the game. Although how you got Vampire Dust in the beginning of the game, I cannot imagine. Now even though you can eat the ingredients and you can get the basic effects for it, and there's no problem with that, you will still get a very, very low increase in your skills, about 1/4 of the experience that you would get if you had successfully mixed a potion. Now if you're trying to train up your alchemy skill, obviously this is the worst way to do it, but you will still get the effects of the different ingredients, and in some cases this can be very beneficial. I don't have one on me right now, but if we happen to get hold of some Stoneflower Petals, then we would have a Restore Strength as our first mark there. Now one of the strongest enemies in the game, or at least one of the most annoying ones early on, is the Bonewalker and the Greater Bonewalker. They have a cursed spell power attack that would drain your strength, and after you kill them, it doesn't go away. So if we go over to our stats here, our strength affects how much we can carry in addition to a whole bunch of other stuff. Well, if we encounter Bonewalker and he drains our strength and we happen to be carrying so much at the time that our strength has suddenly been depleted, we can't even walk anywhere anymore and there's nothing we can do about it, we don't have any potions to restore strength, but we have Stoneflower Petals. Stoneflower can rescue your life in this case. Chew up a Stoneflower Petal and it will slowly restore your strength. It will either be for half a second or many seconds, and you can restore yourself up back to maximum if you happen to have enough and the effects last this long. I recently had an encounter with myself. This was never recorded for my series, but I accidentally drank some ancient Dagoth brandy. This was a terrible idea. It drained my intelligence and willpower for 60 seconds. Now I figured that with the way that most of the other stuff in this game works, as soon as that wore off, I wouldn't have to worry anymore. However, when I went over to my stats, I had 0 magic and both intelligence and willpower were at 0. This caused me some major problems. So I looked through my ingredients and I found bitter green petals, which have a restore intelligence effect on them. I didn't really need a whole lot of boosts because I wasn't worried about my magic at the time, but I figured, okay, I'll just eat a bitter green petal while I walk around and do all this other stuff while I'm preparing to record the episode that I was about to record. I chewed up that bitter green petal, went around and did all my stuff, and I eventually noticed that the effect had worn off, so I wanted to see how much I had restored. Turns out that the bitter green petal's effect had lasted long enough to get my intelligence all the way back up to 100%. This was pretty cool, so I decided to try it with willpower as well. It only got me up to 92 that time, so you can't rely on ingredients to get you through the game if you're just worried about the first effects. In fact, it is much better to rely on the full effects of the different things that you can get here. And that's why you want to worry about alchemy. Also, if you're looking at just one of these things, it's not really going to be that great for you, let's be honest here. So say that we wanted to turn ourselves invisible. Well, we will never be able to do that if we're just going to eat the ingredients. Growl Eyeball, which is a special item that you get in the Tribunal expansion. We can't get Night Eye from it. Fire Salts, we can never get Fire Shield or Resist Frost or Fortify Agility. All we can get from this is Drain Health, which would mean that Fire Salts are pretty much worthless. But they are worth something in the fact that their value is 100. Well, why is their value 100 if you're going to drain your health? Obviously, it's for the other 3 stuff. Aside from that, it's kind of a difficult thing for most NPCs to come across. So if you really do have no interest in alchemy and you're saying I want to get through the game on my own, at least some of the harder ingredients you can collect and sell. I think I've covered everything I need to about the ingredients, so now let's take a look at our different kinds of tools here. Of course, the first one we want to talk about is the Mortar and Pestle. It's the only tool which is actually required to make the potion. The quality of the Mortar and Pestle directly affects the initial quality of the potion that you produce. Next up is the Alembic. This will reduce the strength and duration of any negative effects produced by a given combination of ingredients, as well as the weight of the resultant potion. If the ingredients you are mixing do not have any negative effects, you don't need to use an Alembic unless you want to reduce the weight of the potion. You can also replace the Alembic with a skooma pipe, but the quality is so weak that you probably don't ever want to use them. I think that they have a quality of 0.25, which is less than the Apprentices, so it's an option, but not a very good option. Next up is the Retort. The Retort increases the strength and duration of all positive effects in the potion, sort of the opposite of the Alembic. If the potion doesn't have any positive effects, this will do nothing. For instance, if you're trying to create a drain effect of any kind or a paralyze, there you go. It won't be any good because all you can do in Morrowind is drink potions. You can't actually use them as a poison. But if you want to create something to sell and therefore profit, then there you go. The last one is the Calcinator. This increases the strength and duration of all effects, whether positive or negative. So keep that in mind if you're trying to get really, really creative in how you're creating everything here. Now let's take a look at the formula for alchemy. So let's open this up, and here's what we got here. We can name our potions if we want to create something. There's different apparatuses that we can add or remove. Of course, we kind of want all of them to be in here, so I'm going to keep them all in here. And as mentioned before, there are 4 ingredient slots that we can fill up. Now, if you're really interested, it is possible to determine the exact effects of the potion that you're mixing by using these following formulas. This will be the base potion strength formula, and this will determine the potion's duration. The extra tools will have various effects depending on the combination of tools used and the type of potion being made. Retorts and calcinators will add a certain number of points of magnitude and a certain number of seconds to the duration. Alembics reduce strength and duration by a percentage, and using an alembic and calcinator together significantly reduces the strength and duration of negative effects. Now, because of the decimal places for the different qualities of stuff, and the way that the system rounds out the formulas in a way, there are really only 2 effective qualities of calcinators and retorts if you are making positive potions. Or that is to say, positive effects of potions. Apprentice, Journeyman, and Master will all round to 1, while Grandmaster and Secret Master round to 2. For that reason, it's really a good idea to seek out the strongest possible stuff that you can find as early on in the game as, well, possible. Just so you're aware, the price of the resulting potion that you will eventually make is equal to the base potion strength, and is not affected by any other tools or by having multiple effects. So the potion will cost the same whether it has 1 or 8 different effects, which can be a little bit disheartening if you make a really good potion and it's only based on the first effect, like maybe a Cure Poison or something. Cure Poison is just Cure Poison. It gets rid of poison, and it's not going to affect anything else. Whereas if you make something that has a Cure Poison as a second ingredient effect, then it may cost a little bit more. So pretty much just determines which one is going to be in the top slot. Now let's take a look at the different kind of potions we can make. And I don't have a ton of ingredients in here, but let's at least look around a little bit. There is a very specific type of exploit that we'll be doing later on as well, so I would like to show that off. Let's see. How about, let's toss in a few stuff and see if we can make anything interesting. Toss in some rat meat, toss in the sampool pod, and hey, there we go, paralyze. Both of these have a paralyze thing. Let's go ahead and make this thing and see what happens. Created a potion. So this paralyze thing is just paralyzed because it's a negative effect. In future games this would be a poison, but it's not, so it won't be. And the weight is 0.6. Again, this is basing the quality of the alembic, but it is also based on the weight of the ingredients that you put in. The ampoule pod was 0.1 or 0.2, I believe, whereas the rat meat was 1 pound fully. The average point of that is 0.6. So depending on what you put in there and how much they weigh, you could make various weight potions. I believe that the highest ingredient one that you would want to put in normally is scrap metal, which has a weight of 10 pounds. So you could get a very, very heavy potion. If you combine that with crab meat, which I believe is 1 pound or half a pound, that's like a 5-pound potion. Not the best thing in the world. Alternatively, if you mix together something that has 0.1 with another ingredient that has 0.1, it's possible to get a potion that is 0.0 in weight. You have a weightless potion that doesn't cause any problems. You can probably keep it in your inventory forever and not have to worry about anything except for having more potions and junk in your inventory that you have to scroll through to find out what you want to look for. Now that that's all done, let's take a look at some different kinds of potions we can make. How about we do Durzog meat with some vampire dust. Fortify Strength. Okay, this is something that's going to be a positive effect on us. It will have a certain magnitude and it will last for a certain period of time. Let's go ahead and create one of these. This Fortify Strength potion weighs 1 pound, costs 174, and Fortify Strength 63 points for 179 seconds. That's pretty good, actually. That's more than, I think that is more than half our current strength after we have a certain buff on it. And that's about 3 minutes. Yeah, that is quite a while. Well, I've dropped all my other potions down here, but there is one in particular I'm looking for that I just remembered I want to have for this episode, so give me just a second, I'm going to find it. Okay, I apologize for my lack of complete preparation for this, but now we're ready to go. I actually picked up quite a few potions that I think might be interesting to compare. We've got a Restore Magic potion here, and that may say that's all it is, but I've actually put only 2 ingredients into this potion, and yet I've got quite a lot of effects here, so you can really plan to make some very powerful potions with this. The only negative effect is that you drain your magic 2 points for 6 seconds, but then you restore magic 16 points for 39 seconds, so the last effect on that list doesn't really matter. So that's just one potion with 2 different effects. Yeah, we can create some seriously powerful things in alchemy. You may notice I just added a few ingredients. That's because we're going to do a little bit of an experiment later on. Like I said, I'm not completely ready for this, so please bear with me. Here's a 0 weight restore health potion that I made regularly over the course of the game. Since then, I believe it's possible for me to increase the seconds duration by 1, so I could do 16 points for 40 seconds if I had just a tiny boost. But as far as having 100% on both your intelligence and your alchemy skills, this is about the best you can expect to make. Here's one of the toughest potions to create, a potion of invisibility. This requires bitter green petals and a diamond, and I know that there's a couple other stuff that you can use to make this, but I don't know what they are off the top of my head. But again, this is one of the hardest ones to get a large increase in. In the beginning of the game, I believe you can only get like a 3-second duration of this potion, whereas I made this one fairly recently, and it only lasts for 12 seconds. Since luck is a factor when you're making potions, I've got an exclusive Fortify Luck, and we'll be using that later on to get something really good. And this is where things get probably kind of broken. Fortify Intelligence, 64 points for 182 seconds. You'll remember that I said that intelligence and alchemy are the base factors for determining what kind of strength potion you're going to make. I don't mean like Fortify or Restore Strength, I mean the actual strength of the potion itself. Probably the easiest way for you to increase your intelligence when you're making alchemy is to use an ash yam. Ash yams have just the basic Fortify intelligence, but you have no idea how strong this thing is going to be. It may only be like a couple of points in intelligence increase, and well, that's not really something you want to rely on when you're going to make powerful potions. Let's not make a powerful potion yet though. Let's play around a little bit. So I've already shown you that our restore health is 16 points for 39 seconds. How about we work to increase that? For now though, I'm going to show you one of the most fun ingredients that I've decided I think I can make. And this is my personal preference. So, if we add a bear pelt with a Grawl eyeball, we instantly get 2 effects, Fortify Strength and Night Eye. How about we add in one more effect? If you're lucky enough to get Vampire Dust, go ahead and stick that in there. You don't see anything change, but the Vampire Dust is still in there. Even though it also has a Fortify Strength enhancement, this will not give us more Fortify Strength. That's not the way that ingredients work in here. You can add 4 ingredients with the same effect, doesn't matter if you added 2. But it does have a different effect, and that is Spell Absorption. Now if you want to, go ahead and toss in a Fire Petal. Now you can get that Spell Absorption effect. You can also toss in Void Salts. Again, Spell Absorption effect. The thing is, if you're going to use one of those 2 ingredients, you want to use Vampire Dust and not the other, because if we take out Vampire Dust and we add in Fire Petal, suddenly we have a Paralyze effect in there, and even though it shouldn't be too strong, it's still a Paralyze effect, and we don't want that to happen when we're in the middle of a big battle and we need a big boost. So just for the sake of ease and convenience, let's add in Vampire Dust. So now we've got Fortify Strength, Night Eye, and Spell Absorption. I think that this may be the best kind of all-around potion for a melee fighter in Morrowind. Fortify your strength to do extra damage and be better in just melee combat overall. Night Eye because, well, Morrowind is kind of dark, and I mean like visually, so this may help you to see a whole heck of a lot better. And Spell Absorption because what kind of melee fighter has a real problem with mages? Probably most of them. Magic users are the worst kind of enemy for a barbarian type character to face. Not the barbarian class, but you get what I mean. So if we go ahead and make one of these potions, let's take a look at all the effects of it. Wherever it happens to be. I'm not really sure where it'll be. Probably up here. There we go. So this is a pretty powerful potion, especially in the Night Eye area. 295 points for 877 seconds. That's a long time. The Fortify Strength is just as before. Spell Absorption is only 10 points and it only lasts for 22 seconds. That's because Spell Absorption is a much more expensive sort of type of effect. And this all sort of comes into play when you're creating your own spells and enchantments, but that's a whole other story. I'm not going to get into that. But you can tell that Night Eye is the easiest one to increase here. Even so, all of these together, they're going to make you a pretty darn good potion. So this is all well and good, but how about if we do something a little bit better? I'm going to drink up my exclusive Fortify Luck here, and we're going to do a little bit of an experiment. Let that take effect, and for 60 seconds of outside our inventory, we're going to have some fun. I have created 2 spells for this specific purpose today. Alchemy Boost 1 and 2. We're going to have some fun. Each of these cost 80 magic to cast, and they have a chance of 70 to go into perfect effect. I have just for the record, my restoration skill is at 54, the highest I could train it in Balmora. So that's going to help us out a lot when we're trying to cast this. We will use up less magic, so we have a better chance of casting these things. So what do these things have in them exactly? Well, Alchemy Boost 1 has 8 effects of Fortify Intelligence 100 points. That is an 800 point boost of Fortify Intelligence. Now both of these spells are going to last for 1 second, so as soon as the spell takes effect, we need to jump into our inventory. Alchemy Boost 2 fortifies Alchemy by 100 points. And here's where we're going to do a little bit of an experiment. I could do the math and show you what my best mathematical guess is on all this, but how about we take an actual look at the difference between Fortify Alchemy and Fortify Intelligence when we're trying to make a potion. Alchemy Boost 1. Hopefully this will work. Actually, what is my magic is at 82, so I've got 2 points extra. Failed, okay. Fortunately, I have exclusive Restore Magic for this. Let's go ahead and drink this up. Cast it again. Okay, so that's an effect. Just to be sure, because it is a 1 point here, let's take a look at this, see if we can find out where it is. There it is. Fortify Attribute Intelligence by 100 points. Alright, let's come over here and have a little bit of fun. For this first spell we're going to do, let's do... And remember that Fortify Luck is also a mild factor when we're creating potions. Let's toss in a ruby, and over here I have some Wickweed. I thought these were both Restore Health, but I guess not. Well, darn it. Fortunately, I have Corkbold Brute. Pardon me for that. I am very sorry. So Corkbold Brute will restore our health. Let's try this out. Create! Okay, I don't know if that magic is still in effect. Yes, it is. We did all that in less than a second. So, restore health. And how strong is this going to be? Probably this one, because it's at a cost of 297. Restore health by 24 points for 64 seconds. Compared to the 16 for 39, that is pretty darn good. Okay, well actually we could have done this even better. What if, right before we cast that spell, we had used a Fortify Intelligence potion by an extra 64 points? Well, we could have done that, but then we wouldn't be doing a very accurate experiment. We will play with this a little bit more at the very end though, so be prepared for that. So with Intelligence 900 and Alchemy at 100, we could make a pretty freaking strong Restore Health potion, which makes me wonder what kind of Night Eye powerful effects we could have gotten if we'd done that one instead. So now that that's all done, let's go down here to Alchemy Boost 2, let that wear off. I'm going to need to restore my magic. Okay, so I finally got this thing active. It took me a little while. But now let's go over here, and let's try to make another Restore Health potion with a different effect in place. We're going to use Wickweed, and we're going to use Corpus Weepings. I am so glad I am doing this right next to an alchemist who can provide me with the required ingredients to do this experiment. So we've created a potion, and I'm sure that the effects have worn off now. Let's see. Restore health by... Where are we at here? Oh my word! That's a whole lot different than 297. So originally we had 24 points for 64 seconds. Now we've got... Sweet mercy! 96 points for 280 seconds. I did not know it could be this powerful. That's pretty darn good. So overall, I'd say that Alchemy Boost 2 fortify Alchemy instead of Intelligence by 800 points. Alchemy is the way to go. So can we do even better? Probably can. Let's scroll back up here, and we are fortifying our luck by 20 points, which is, again, a factor. How about we now fortify our intelligence by 64 points for 82 seconds? back over here. And where is it? Is it still in effect? It's not. Okay, so, well, I've drunk that potion, and we're now at 64 plus intelligence. Okay, now we've got a whole bunch of other effects in place. Let's take advantage of the way Morrowind works here, and create some even stronger potions than what we've seen so far. So with our spell in place, and the intelligence boost, and the luck boost, let's open up our alchemy in here. We'll put in an ash yam, and a bloat, to fortify our intelligence, while we are being boosted. You're starting to see where this is going? Let's do that, create a potion. Okay, and that's probably worn off by now, so we're going to have to do this quite a few times. Fortify intelligence, we've got 2 here, by 67 points for 192 seconds. Not quite as much. And there actually is another way we can get around all this too, which I did not consider doing because it would have taken a lot of extra work and more time to prepare for. But we can actually go to an enchanter and get something that would fortify our intelligence or our alchemy, cast that on ourselves, and get a pretty crazy boost in addition to the 1-second spell that we've got going on here. So that's another way that we could do all this as well. So let's drink up this intelligence potion. And that's fortifying us even more. Want to do this again? Oh gracious, we're getting into some powerful stuff now. Which makes me wonder if our magic had worn off when we were making the last one. Natural Leather and Bloat fortify intelligence by 470 points for 1,402 seconds. That is a lot. That is a whole lot. And that's kind of scary. Let's drink it. That goes into effect, and what have we got now? Intelligence at 701. Let's use our spell again. And because we're fortifying our intelligence, we get less magic used up whenever we try to cast this thing. Because our intelligence is also boosting our magic pools. So that's a additional help that we're getting in here. That's going on. And double check to make sure this is in effect because we need to make sure that it's still active. Come over here again. Bloat and Natural Leather, Fortify Intelligence. Yeah, you can do this in an endless loop to create amazingly, stupidly game-breaking, powerful potions. Make another one. Sure, why not? Then we come over here. Where are you? Fortify Intelligence. Man, these things are strong right now. And everything is still in effect too. Actually, where's my alchemy skill? We can put that on the screen to make sure it's still being boosted as well, which it doesn't look like it has been. Was it turned off before? I'm not sure. Either way, now it's turned on. It looks like that's the maximum we're going to be able to get out of this though, so I think if we try to push it anymore, the game might break. But that is a major boost for a very long period of time. And everything is still in effect. Alchemy at 900, Intelligence at 701. Oh, that's probably why our luck potion wore off. Well, while all of this is in effect, why don't we make some super potions, shall we? What do we want to add to this? How about the same thing that we did before? My favorite, or I should say my new favorite one that I discovered today. Add all this stuff together. And vampire dust, was it? Yes, vampire dust and point salts. Ta-da! Let's make a few of those just because we can. And now let's take them all out. And let's try to create another restore health potion. As long as this thing is in effect, because I don't want to have to go into my inventory and cancel everything out. Let's see. Where are you? Wickweed. Go ahead and make a whole bunch of restore health potions from that. What else can we make? How about a long-lasting water walking potion? For that matter, why not a long-lasting water breathing potion? Drain fatigue, but whatever. Long-time water breathing, that's probably very useful. It's not as strong as a Fortify Strength potion if you're trying to reduce your carry weight, and probably not as useful overall, but how about we create a super strong feather potion? Vampire Dust and Shulk Resin will make us a few Fortify Health potions. Just be aware that if you're using Fortify Health, if you run out of too much health and the potion wears off, and your total amount of Fortified Health is more than the health you currently have, that's all going to drain away and you will die on the spot the moment the potion wears out, so beware of that. I think that's all the potions that we have time to make and all the ingredients that we have to make stuff with, but I think you kind of get the idea that alchemy is a very strong thing to have in the game. So now let's take a look at, okay, we made a lot of potions. Water walking for 491 seconds, water breathing for 491. Drain fatigue doesn't last as long, but if you want to, you can probably balance that out by creating a restore fatigue potion if you so desire. And you can make that with a whole bunch of food in the game in addition to Nixhound meat, which is very plentiful to come by. So bread and other stuff like that, easy to counter. What else do we have in here? Restore health. Yeah, you talk about breaking the game. Nobody's going to kill you when you have this thing in effect. Yeah, compared to our previous stuff, 16 for 39 doesn't look quite as good anymore. And there's the super potion we made. Night Eye is going to last forever. You could probably, if you know what you're doing and where to go and how to do a whole bunch of stuff, you could probably get through an entire guild line before the Night Eye thing wears out here, which is pretty crazy, actually. Yeah, if you come prepared, you'll never have that problem again. For the record, you can also get a Night Eye effect with a Dangerous Heart and a Kagati hide. A Kagati is pretty easy to come by, and if you really need a Night Eye and you can't really come across very many danger that you're able to kill early on in the game, Blood Moon has a whole lot of ingredients that you can get from it. And I know that Blood Moon has super powerful enemies, but you can probably just buy a whole bunch of regular ingredients at the fort that have, well, the Night Eye enchantment. Most of these are going to be pelts in addition to the Grawl Eyeball, so if you really want Night Eye for that, there you go. Our Fortified Health Potions give us an extra 493 points of health for 1,469 seconds. Again, probably overkill. Feather is now 493 for 1469 seconds. That is almost double our carry weight. Almost. Very close. Fortify Intelligence, again, very high. And more Fortify Health. So, Alchemy is strong. And if you combine that with taking advantage of the different effects of enchanting, you can become practically unstoppable. My only warning for you about this is be aware that this may sort of ruin the game for you. You become overpowered too fast and there's no challenge whatsoever except of keeping track of when your Fortify Health Potions wear out, because then you will instantly die. But even so, beware using these ingredients to turn yourself into pretty much godhood. Because, yeah, you may lose the fun of playing through the game if you're able to just cheat your way through. And that's pretty much what alchemy is if you take advantage of everything. You can cheat your way through the game from the beginning if you know what you're doing. Or probably there's another way to look at it as well. How about we go over here and take a look at, what are these prices again? Over 14,000? That one's 13,000? Yeah, we're over 14,000 in a lot of these things. Maybe you're just going to make these potions and say, I'll never drink them, I'm just going to sell them for the extra gold boost. That's a lot of boosts. And there's not going to be a whole lot of vendors who want to buy that much from you. They do exist. For instance, Nalcaria here has 3,000 gold, which restocks on a 24-hour basis. That's still a lot of gold. That is a lot of gold. And you'll be able to, in effect, buy your way through the game, which doesn't that sound like a whole bunch of Facebook games and such these days? Yeah, Morrowind, you can buy your way through the game with alchemy. It's an exploit that you can take advantage of. Again, probably broken. So alchemy is certainly quite overpowered. I don't know if it's quite something you can take advantage of to this degree in other Elder Scrolls games, but this is powerful. Alchemy is very powerful if you take advantage of everything that it has to offer. So, modify your stats, give yourself a lot of luck, and with the right ingredients, you'll become unstoppable. I believe I may have covered everything that there is to say about alchemy. But if you would rather read through all of this information yourself, I know that we went through quite a bit here, and you're more of a read it then watch it learner, then you can follow some links down in the description below and read and study up on it yourself. Maybe you can come up with your own type of potion combinations and whatnot. I will say this, that if you try to combine Bloat with Wickwheat, they have a Fortify Intelligence and Willpower on Bloat, and then Wickwheat has Fortify Willpower. I tried to Fortify Willpower with some other stuff, and I wasn't able to do it. So either Bloat or Wickwheat seems to be broken in the terms of creating something super powerful. I don't know what it was, and I'm not really interested in experimenting with everything to figure out what it could be, but there are some broken spots in here. But I'm curious, for those of you who have watched this far, and you probably know plenty of this stuff, what do you think the best kind of potion would be to make? If you were to combine 4 ingredients, and assuming that you have full stats and you're using the Grandmaster's tools, what's the strongest kind of potion that you can make? I'm sure that the detrimental side effects would not be so bad, but I'm curious, what kind of ideas do you guys have that you could probably make in this game? While playing through the game, I found my own potion called a Potion of Heroism,
and it seems to be the strongest base potion that you can come across in the game. It has Fortify Health, Restore Health, Fortify and Restore Fatigue, Fortify Attack, and Shield, and it is extremely valuable. I don't know if there are many instances of this potion in the game, but this is the only one I've ever found. Now, because of all the different effects in here, I don't know if this is a potion we can actually make. It may be sort of a be-all end-all potion for people who happen to find it, but this is an example of something really powerful. I'm curious though, what kind of super powerful potions do you guys think you could come up with? Let me know what kind of ideas you have. I would love to hear them. And that will be it for this video tutorial and walkthrough when it comes to Morrowind Alchemy. Thank you everyone for joining me for this video. If you liked this video and you haven't seen it yet, consider watching my video on Morrowind Enchanting as well. Even though I don't come up with anything in the video that we could make and possibly play through the game with on the spot, I have come up with some very powerful creations that I have been able to use over the course of the game. Some of them have gotten replaced, some of them have been not quite as good as I thought they would be. But there's some pretty good enchantment stuff, and I've gotten pretty good feedback on that as well. So if you like this one and you would like to see some more enchanting as well, take a look at that link and let me know what you guys thought of this video as well. Thank you for joining me for today's video, and remember to follow the links down below if you are interested in reading up on any of this stuff for yourself, and have an awesome day. Take care.
I would also like to point out that you can drink potions multiple times and get a larger effect. I currently have an intelligence of 1622. However, I have just been made aware of something that I think you should be aware of before you go out and try to break the game. You actually can break the game. You can cause the game to glitch or crash with an intelligence of 55,000 and up, and a luck of 3,500 and up. A Fortify Speed and Levitate potion at that point could probably cause you to run and fly through the ground, a wall, cliff, etc. and freeze the game. If you're lucky, you'll either reappear where you left the game, but in most cases when this has happened to me, you will die and have to reload. So beware of that. Something else to note is that canceling the effects of a very long-term potion can be problematic as well, so beware. And for the record, just because I'm sure most of you are curious, after fortifying my health to that level and my alchemy to that level, I decided to create one more restore health potion, and this is how powerful it ended up being. I think that's it for now, so end of the video. Hopefully I won't come up with anything else at the last second. Take care, everyone.